You guys did a great job, I think, of showing just how sophisticated, how complex this, this capability has become over the years. I think a lot of us in the early stages were familiar with the use case involving a popular coffee chain and so on and so forth. And I think what you guys have done here, or have demonstrated, is just the complexity and capabilities as they've expanded. So before we, well, are there questions from the audience before we jump in here? Yeah. Okay. Gentleman back there waving his hand vigorously there.
Hi, it's been a really, really interesting session, so thank you very much indeed. My question is that both of these examples we saw were from the US, as far as I know. And I remember talking to Duncan here 2 years ago about when PlaceIQ was coming to the UK. So I suppose my question would be, without detracting from this at all, when is this sort of stuff going to become available outside the US, or are we just going to wait till Facebook start doing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll let Alistair speak as well. I mean, absolutely. So we're live in the UK. We're in the middle of a global rollout. So it's no longer this specific thing to the US. This is now something that increasingly, with ours and other companies, is available internationally.
Yeah, and we've been working in the UK for about 2.5 years. We have partnerships now with Research Now and some other partners as well. And so, agree, it's widely available.
There's one more question.
One more question there.
Hi, this is the question for the study Duncan mentioned on starting the lift to the car dealership. For that particular study, you have a control group, you have an exposed group, right? You mentioned that 30-something% is in the control group. So my question is, for the control group, did you not serve them an ad, or did you serve them an ad that is not related to car?
Yeah, so the question is, sorry, a little bit hard to hear. The question is, in terms of the control group, were they actually shown a true control ad or just no advertisement? That was the question. So they were not shown any advertisement. There wasn't, there wasn't a gray 30-second slot. They were selectively, detargeted, so no advertisement was shown to them.
For our study with the ad effectiveness triggered by location, we had control group that had to break the exact same fence that was set up for exposed group. For just this pilot, we did show them just a control ad, which was not related to the advertisements. So they were the statistical twins, I like the term that I heard today.
A question back there.
In the car example, are we saying that one exposure is causing that effect? How are we controlling for, because no one buys it, no one buys a car because of one ad. So how are you controlling for multiple exposures?
Yeah, so I think the question was, did one exposure cause that lift? So I'll be honest to say, I don't know the actual frequency. My belief is it was one exposure, but I don't actually know. I can't definitively tell you that it was just one exposure.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe that someone's going to decide to buy a car because they saw one ad, right? They either had to be extremely far down in the funnel to where this pushed them over the edge.
Yes.
Or, yeah, that's all.
So I think one of the things I maybe should have been clear about there is the data that was used to select those households was a combination of two data sets, one of which was vehicle registration data in the US from Polk. So you know that the household is almost deterministically in market for a vehicle. And then the other data set that we've used as well, that's an easy one to support your point, is we look at households whereby the devices that dwell in those households have recently visited car dealerships, which deterministically we cannot tell if that's because they're going for a service or they own a car, or they're looking at a car rather. But that has proven to be an extremely effective signal, and we've done real studies with this to prove someone's lower down the purchase funnel. So those two things are used to select those households Therefore, you're looking at households that have a very strong likelihood they're in market for a vehicle.
So basically, this is an ad to close the deal, not necessarily start the conversation.
Yeah, no, I think you can genuinely say, right, that this is sort of mid to lower funnel. It can be used in different ways, but obviously, if you're looking at mid to lower funnel, a much stronger KPI there is foot traffic to the dealer. If you're much further up the channel, you're not necessarily focused on driving people to the dealer, and other KPIs might be more appropriate.
Agreed.
I'm afraid we're out of time. So thank you for your engagement. Thank you, panel, for sharing your insights there. Great job.